There have clearly been a lot of updates with the Ruinous Powers, and today we're going to be covering exactly what's being pulled right now in the game for Ruinous Powers. Now, Jagex has stated time and time again with all these updates that what we are voting on is not for sure coming into the game. It's more of sort of just a loose feel for what the community wants. I don't know how better to put it, but basically we are going to be testing these prayers before they're officially introduced into the game. So rest assured, for those that are like really scared about this whole new prayer book coming out, it will be coming out and there will be some crazy prayers, definitely, but we'll get the chance to kind of mess around with them first, and then Jagex will probably bring them into the game. So let's just go right into this. Now, this blog that Jagex posted on March 8th. This is like the updated. Now, I have already made 2 rambles on the Ruinous Powers prayer book. This is massive. I mean, this is a massive blog, and I'm going to skip down to the very bottom where it says the Ruinous Powers version 1.1. So if you guys would like to read the above stuff, I think it's all sort of repeated. It's kind of talking, I don't know, it's kind of showing what all the changes have been, and this bottom section is just kind of like a fresh slate saying, okay, here it is broken down. It's still big because all of these things expand. This isn't it. This is like, it's still going to be something. So let's just get right into it. All right, so Ruinous Powers version 1. I'm about to say V every single time. Version 1.1. My guy's still chopping. Hell yeah. All right. With all the changes so far out of the way, let's take a look at what the proposal is looking like now. We saw some feedback that the table in the last blog was a little unwieldy. So we've tried presenting things in a different way. Let us know which of these approaches you think makes the most sense. I already am liking this because there's expanded ones, so it just keeps things clean. I like this, Jagex. Shout out. All of the sections below are expandable and contain an outline of all the prayers within a category, as well as any relevant poll questions. Note, and again, I said this at the beginning, none of these prayers will be entering Old School as a result of only this poll. These poll questions are for us to understand whether or not we should pursue any of these prayers for inclusion in a beta, and would be locked in during a subsequent poll after you've had a chance to participate in the beta. Okay, so there's 5 different prayer types: protection prayers, offensive prayers, overhead offensive prayers, ancient vows, which are actually new, so we're going to be taking a look at that. I don't really know what they are yet, and utility prayers. So let's take a look at the protection prayers right now. Dampen, melee, magic, and ranged. This prayer reduces damage from the appropriate style by 90%. They really love that. I'm not going to share my thoughts again for the 30th time. 36% in PvP scenarios. Okay, so normally it's 40% for those that don't know, so this makes sense. This value always rounds down, meaning damage between 1 and 9 would roll down to 0, or that an NPC who would deal 49 damage will deal 4. I like that. So it's not exactly 90%. I mean, it kind of is, but it's rounding down, which is nice. Absorb, melee, magic, and ranged. Okay, reduces damage from the appropriate style by 100%, 40% in PvP scenarios, but drains prayer points by 10% of the mitigated damage. This value always rounds down, similar to the examples for dampen. Very cool. So, reduces damage by 100%. So, whatever you're gonna get hit, so if you're praying protect melee and Bandos punches you what would have been a 50, you're obviously gonna get hit a 0. 10% of that, which is 5 prayer points, will be drained from you. I know I'm just spelling this out like you guys are children, but hopefully this kind of paints a better picture of sharing an example of how this would look. Now, 5 prayer points. And okay, so if you got hit a 49 though, that would only be 4 prayer points drained. So I kind of like that. And if you were to only get hit a 9 or a 3, it wouldn't actually drain anything, it sounds like. So I mean, cool, I guess. It's kind of weird that we have like both, you know. I would almost prefer just to have one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Whatever is the best one. Now, of course, we don't really know that. There's some Galaxy Brain players out there that know which one's going to be like the most used and stuff and just the best. Obviously, there'll be different situations where it's better, but I really do feel like we really don't need both of these. We just need one. I would actually prefer the Absorb Melee Magic Range, to be quite honest. I think that's just a cooler approach. I also liked my idea from the previous Ramble where I was talking about a dampen effect, except you do get protected 100%, but if you pray the wrong thing, if a ranger hits you when you're praying melee, that attack will now deal 10% more damage than it would have. I kind of like that. Withstand is a placeholder, melee magic range, reduces damage. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me read this first part up here. Our initial proposal's intention was to use dampen and absorb in tandem, giving you options for different content or depending on your inventory setup. Since then, we've seen other suggestions gain traction and would like to propose some alternatives. Okay, I didn't even see that. Reduces damage from the appropriate style by 100%, 40% PvP scenarios, but reduces your defense by 33% while active. That's even honestly better than my suggestion, I think. I truly do think this is actually a better approach at it. Mine's like fine, I guess, and they're kind of similar in a way, but you are actually taking 10% more damage. This, if you're praying the wrong thing, your defense is just reduced, so you would just have a higher chance of taking damage. So they're pretty much the same thing in a way. And I actually like this. I like Withstand. I think this is actually, of these three that we've read so far, I think Withstand's actually the best. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what you guys think. Deflect. Ooh, I like this one. This is what we saw at the very end of the last Ramble. Reduces damage from the appropriate style by 90%, but deals 10% of the pre-mitigated damage back to the attacker. For example, if you're using Deflect Melee and an NPC hits you with melee that would deal 49 damage, you'll receive 4 damage and deal 4 damage. Okay, that's actually the coolest one. I take everything back about the other three. That is such a cool idea. I think this is genuinely the best of all worlds. Now, you are taking... okay, I can't... I'm like going at this like in the moment. This is all live for me. Okay. There's a problem with this. The problem is the chip damage. As I've stated, I don't like chip damage. I think it's going to be annoying. Now, if they were to give 2 of these options, I would honestly suggest letting us have Withstand and Deflect. I think these are both the best because at least with Withstand, you are getting 100% protection, which, believe it or not, I really highly believe that the vast majority of the player base wants full protection. I really do think that. I think the idea, like the theory of taking a little bit of chip damage doesn't seem so bad until you're actually doing it. If you guys have done TOA with the 90% protection prayers, it is tilting. Nobody activates it. It's fucking miserable. It is a miserable experience. Okay, so if you don't believe me, go try it. Go to TOA right now and turn on that thing. It's just annoying. It's just constant chip damage. This is exactly what these prayers are going to be. So even though I like Deflect, I think it's awesome. I would really like to see Withstand and Deflect because I do think it's cool to deal that damage back. Like that's so like barbarian. You know what I mean? Like berserker that's the word I'm thinking of. It's just such a fucking zerker like type. I don't know. You're just like any damage that's done just instantly given back. Like eat it. You know. All right. Okay. So what are the questions? Would you like to see absorb and dampen? Of the possible alternate approaches, would you prefer deflect or withstand? See, I like both of these. I genuinely want both withstand and deflect. I do. Offensive prayers. All right, let's take a look at these. There's not a huge amount for us to say on these. Nothing's changed since last time, so enjoy a bunch of numbers and some aesthetic bullet points. Ancient Precision is 20% attack. Okay, that's horrible. Ancient Strength is 20%. Wait, yeah, these are horrible, right? These are like worse than Pieties and stuff. I think these are like okay, well, here, let's just cover them real quick before I start sharing thoughts, because I always do that. I share thoughts prematurely. Ancient Sight is 20% range attack and 20% range strength, and Ancient Will is 20% magic attack. Why is Sight so fucking beastly compared to the other three? Trinitas or Trinitas or whatever. 15% of everything. Okay. So this is the prayer that's kind of more for beginners, as I stated in a previous ramble, like I keep mentioning. For example, Vanguards in Chambers of Xeric. This would be an amazing prayer to just have activated nonstop, and then you can just focus on your gear switches, or just you're not worrying about having your prayers right. You can just kind of chill, and you're getting a little bit less, but it's still powerful. Decimate is 20% attack and 30% strength. Okay, there we go. Annihilate, 20% range attack, 30% range attack. These are so good. Vaporize is 25%. I'm going to be... I love that it's called Vaporize. I'm going to be praying vape. All right, boys. Who's praying vape? Come on, guys. No. So 4% magic damage. Awesome. I will say I genuinely... So I'm happy there is magic damage. I would honestly suggest... Like, it would be cool if this was 5, just because it's a cleaner number, in my opinion. And then lower something else like the occult. I genuinely think the occult should be lowered to about 7% instead of it. The occult is at 10% for some ungodly reason. Well, there is a reason for it. It was like the first mage upgrade, and they just went way overboard. When you think of a piece of ancestral, that's 2%. Occult is 10%. Truly, I think Vaporize could be 5%, even higher technically, but they'd have to make some rebalancing. And I know that would have to be pulled, and a lot of people would hate it. But in my opinion, the occult needs to be scaled down to 8%, like absolute max is what it should be. I would even suggest 6%. And then make the Eternal Boots actually get a little bit of mage bonus. I was thinking Eternal Boots could be like plus 2% or something like that, just so there really is a reason to have those mage boots. And then I was also thinking, the Seer's Ring should give like a plus 2% or plus 1% or whatever it should be, although they are going to be coming out with new rings in the future. So, but I would like a little bit of redistribution with how mage damage works, but 4% is still cool. I'm happy with it. Overhead offensive prayers. Okay, so let's take a look at these. Gambit provides plus 8% accuracy in all styles when used. So these are... Okay, so keep in mind... let me just dump these real quick. So the offensive prayers can actually be used in conjunction with these bottom ones, because these are now overheads. So you obviously can't be praying protection, but you could have, Decimate on and Gambit, it sounds like. Whether you're using this for better odds on hitting that juicy Dragon Warhammer special attack, or flicking between this and your protection prayers to maximize your damage output, we're confident players of all skill levels will be able to get value out of Gambit. 8% accuracy might not look like much to some of you, but combined with the other offensive prayers noted, prayers above, finding any opportunity to throw Gambit into the mix will take your damage potentials to new heights. I agree with that. I think it's really fucking cool too. Plus, it's raising the skill ceiling. For example, at Nex, if you were to go do Nex with the boys, a 4-man Nex or something, you have to, if you want to be using Gambit in a solid, efficient way, you're going to have to be constantly, on the ball with how Nex is attacking, how the other minions are attacking and stuff, and being able to pray Gambit and then turn it off, like turn it on, protect, turn it on, protect, turn it on. Like, so you're constantly in that prayer battle. And I think that's going to be actually a lot of fun. Obviously, not everyone's going to use it. And there'll be plenty of times where very, very efficient players aren't going to be using it either, because it's just super tedious, I'm imagining. But it's still cool that you have that potential if you want to sweat. And it's not something like incredibly click intensive, like, herb tarring or just some random shit that you'd have to do. It's simple. Rebuke increases your damage taken by 15%, reflects 15% of any damage dealt to you. Okay. That is so strange. So again, this is an overhead, which means you cannot be protecting anything else. You are just going to be taking 15%, and then it reflects 15% of that damage dealt to you. So Rebuke is one of those prayers that's not going to be triggered all the time. This is something that's going to be in conjunction with like a Vengeance or something. This is pure risk versus reward. Sacrifice a protection prayer for a chance at unleashing a devastating vengeance. or just passively recoil damage in scenarios where you don't feel like you need extra protection, like the end of a kill. If you're 99 HP, you're just out of food, you're finishing Muspa or something, you're just going to take a big hit because, like, why not? You're going to leave anyway. So there's a lot of potential for this prayer. I think it's cool. Vindication, when reduced below 10% of your maximum HP without taking lethal damage, heal for 15% of your prayer level and lose. Woo! You got an easy nest, boys. And lose any remaining prayer points. For 6 seconds after Vindication triggers, your next attack will deal 10% bonus damage. Okay. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think of when I'd be using this. If you guys have a great example, let me know down in the comments. Just type like Vindication and then say like this is what a great use for Vindication. I'd love to see what you guys think. While it's not entirely offensive and could save your life in a pinch, a well-timed Vindication might serve as a means for you to turn your near-death scenario into a swift change of fortune. Sounds kind of like a PvP prayer, but let me know. These are the... Okay, so Ancient Vows. I'm excited about these. These are the prayers you won't have seen before in our original proposal. We mentioned them earlier in the blog, but didn't give much detail. The Ancient Vows allow you to imbue yourself with one of the ancient elements. You won't be able to activate 2 vows at the same time, but you can have these up alongside any of the other ruinous powers. It's worth pointing out that the numbers in here are perhaps a little conservative. We're more interested to see how you feel about the concepts at first and can tweak numbers in line with feedback if any of these make their way into the beta. Okay, let's see what it is. Cror's Vow. Okay. So these are literally just the next minions, I noticed. While active, you have a 10% chance to heal 10% of damage dealt with any combat style. Huh. Wait, are these overheads? Or are you just using them? Okay, so you just have one like active at all times and it's not an overhead, it sounds like. So while active, you have a 10% chance. That's cool. These are fucking cool. Like, if that's the case, if you could just have one of these on at all times and just drains a little bit, like, I think that's really cool. This first one sounds great. It's sort of like a little, like Blood Fury, sort of. All of his combat is thirsty work. Consider keeping yourself topped up with a sanguine treat. I like this. I actually am surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised with that first one. Okay. Glacie's Vow. While active, you have a 20% chance to deal bonus magic damage. This bonus damage rolls off your equipped style against your target's magic defense. The damage dealt is 10% of your initial hit. Interesting. Chill your target to the bone and shatter them with some recurrent damage. I still like it. It's just a little passive effect that's just... okay, so somebody in the comments in one of the previous videos was just kind of telling me, and I fully self-admitted on the Ramble itself, that I am becoming a lot more progressive with this game. As in, I don't have the same just desires for the game to like kind of stay the same and be the game I know and love from when I was a child. I really think it's a healthy thing to progress the game, as many of you believe. And I think I'm actually on the trajectory of like kind of like hastening the progression. Just like this prayer book is crazy OP. I mean, it's going to be totally game breaking, totally game changing, not game breaking, but it's just going to make everything way easier. And I'm all here for it. I really am. I think it's just exciting. This is way more exciting than, I don't know, other things we've seen. A new prayer book's awesome. Umbra's Vow. While active, drain your opponent's defense by 10% of your damage dealt. Is that just constantly? You're just constantly lowering defense, I'm assuming. Umbra's Vow respect the same limit as shadow spells, meaning defense cannot be lowered more than 50%. Okay, I see. This reduction would apply before other defense reduction effects, meaning there's still value in using this alongside something like the Dragon Warhammer. Ooh, I like that. It's difficult to spend every waking moment with your guard up, slip into the shadows, and get the better of any terrible tanky opponent. Defense reduction is extremely valuable in old school these days. While the Accursed Scepter introduced a means of lowering defense from afar, a role previously only filled by the bone crossbow, many players often feel like it's not worth the special attack energy required. If you're able to pump the damage out, here's a reliable way of knocking those defense values down, albeit with limited effectiveness compared to staples like the Dragon Warhammer or Bandos Godsword. Cool. I like the prayer. While active, attacks consume 10% of your poison severity to deal the same amount of poison damage to an enemy. This one's a little confusing and perhaps best illustrated by an example plus a look at how poison actually works in Old School. We'll use the Alchemical's Hydra Poison Pool for our example. When you're inflicted with poison, while it might look like a number that just says you're about to take this much damage, there's a little more going on under the hood. The Alchemical Hydra's Poison Pool will inflict you with poison severity of 30. Every time poison damage ticks, the damage you take is equal to poison severity plus 4, all divided by 5. They're saying, this is not clearing it up. What? You take some damage, your poison severity decreases by 1, rinse and repeat. In this example, so it's like the little rune light little counter. I think that's what it's kind of taken into consideration. In this example, the poison that these pools inflict you with will deal 6 damage. Since 30 plus 4 is 34, okay, divided by 5 gives 6.8, which we round down to 6. Oh, interesting. Okay, that kind of cleared it up. With Fuma's Vow activated, your next attack after being inflicted with this poison will deal 3 additional damage and reduce your poison severity to 27. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Ultimately, what we're driving at is perhaps being poisoned isn't all bad. And with Fuma's Vow, you could remove some of that poison more quickly while converting it into some additional damage output. That's so cool. Perhaps this one's a bit more unusual than the other vows. Let us know. These are great. I like them. I like all 4 of them. I really like the first one, to be honest, because it's just the most simple and it's just a healing effect. I think healing effects have always just really caught my attention, and they obviously have use in like every situation almost. Okay, utility prayers. Ruinous Grace. While active, drain prayer points instead of run energy. This drain rate is modified by prayer points and does not take into account effects like stamina. Ooh, okay. Oh, sorry, prayer bonus. Excuse me. So, okay. It'll be interesting to see the drain rate of it, but so stamina is just not being affected. I feel like they should, maybe it's engine work, but I really do feel like stamina should actually be taken in effect. Also, when are we going to be getting like prayer enhances, from Chambers of Zarek? I was just thinking like a stamina for prayer. When are we getting those into the game, Let's get some of those. Speaking of progressiveness. All right. While active, stuff is Ruinous Smite. Reduce both yours and your opponent's prayer points by 33% of your damage dealt. It's likely that this one could use some tuning and tweaking too. We'll be keeping a close eye on any feedback relating to Ruinous Smite, especially if it makes its way into a beta. I think that's a great prayer for PvP at least. I mean, I'll never use it for... Actually, would you use this for Muspa? I guess you would. Wrath, while active, deal damage equal to 25% of your prayer level in a 5x5 radius around you on death. Yeah, this thing's going to be busted. For like those nuke armies that just come in, and just blow up everybody. All right, Rejuvenation, while active, regenerate 1 HP every roughly 20 seconds. Okay. Again, I wish it was a little bit faster, but it's still cool. Metabolize reduces action delay, not eat delay, by 0.6 seconds after eating. So for those that are a little bit confused about that, what they stated was you can eat a shark and then you can attack 2 ticks later instead of the normal 3. But you can't eat a shark 2 ticks after you just ate the last shark. You know what I mean? You'd have to wait, but you can attack a tick earlier. Similar to Preserve, must be active for some length of time, 15 seconds before taking effect. Ew, God, what? Come on. What the fuck? That's... Okay, so it's just kind of like constantly got to be on if you're going to be wanting to use it. I'll be honest, I don't really like that. I don't like it when you have to have things on prior. What would be cooler, this is my take on it, very simple takes coming right out of my head right now, is instead of it having to be on, just make it so you click metabolize, and then what it does is it just drains a certain amount of prayer points, just drains a prayer point or 2 prayer points or whatever the hell the value is. Just click it. It drains it instantaneously. And then whatever, so wait, let's see what this third bullet point says so I can have a clear thing. After this windup time, deactivating Metabolize will reset your action delay to your weapon's attack speed or left unchanged, whichever of these values is greater. Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe in their mind, and I've never used a beta with this thing. Maybe it is better that it's this way, but I was just thinking, what if you could just click the prayer and it just drains a certain amount of prayer points, maybe just even one, and then, you whatever food you're about to eat next is just prepped up. So you click the prayer, and then whatever food you eat next in any amount of time, you eat it, and then you can attack 2 ticks later instead of 3. Or for a Karambolan's sake, it would just be 1 tick. Eat food, get back to fighting more quickly, simple enough. We spoke about this one further up in the blog, but just to reiterate, Metabolize being active does not mean you'll be able to eat multiple pieces of food more quickly than before. Yep. Berserker, while active, combat stat boosts last 50% longer. Okay. So it's like Preserve. That's a wrap on everything that's changed since our first blog on the Ruinous Powers. Please make sure to get out and vote in the Greenlight poll. Your responses will give us a really clear idea of what's good, what's not, and what could be good with some tweaking. It also means that if it's clear there are several unpopular additions, we know exactly what to substitute out and replace with something different before the beta rolls around. So get voting, and we'll be back to talk Ruinous Powers again soon as the Greenlight poll wraps up. All right, I gotta say, look how many fucking mods there are. Jesus Christ. Well done, mods. Well done. You guys are killing it. Okay, so overview. I'm a huge fan of these prayers. I think Jagex, you did a great job. Very simply just painting what the 5 categories of prayers are and just simply stating what they are. I think it's great. I think the prayer book's actually in a really good spot right now. Truly, I think it's awesome. And you guys are going to have to let me know down in the comments what you guys think about it, what you would want to see change, what you'd want to see added. Let me know. Also, be sure to just smash a like on the video. I don't think I said that earlier. And be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying the rambles. Truly, guys, it really helps my channel grow. If you enjoy the rambles even a little bit, show me your support. Just smash that subscribe button. Anyway, guys, have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will catch you next week with some streams. So go follow me down in the description on my Twitch. Anyway, peace out, guys.